Hey guys, what's up? I am here to give you guys a recap on a new chapter of One Piece, which is on chapter 972. Now, I'll let you guys know this is just a rough translation from a fan or someone else, so it seems a little bit accurate if anything else. I mean, we'll just have to see, but I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter of One Piece, which is on chapter 972. Man, I had to reread this chapter many times over, and I almost had tears coming out, dude. So if anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it that after Shinobu announced everyone to tell him what Oden did, everybody was really shocked, and the ninjas that serve Orochi, they are surprised to see her there, and they were about to punish her for what she has done, and that she was actually prepared to die, but she plans to survive and exterminate you next time. And the guy who held her arm, the baldy guy, ends up saying, "You must be dreaming." Everybody is really shocked to see what the heck is going on, and we end up having to see that the citizens ask Orochi to end the punishment, but too late. They all get shot by a bunch of arrows or something, and Orochi just stares at them in anger and calls them trash or something, And this is because the crowd instantly understood how scary someone seeking revenge can really be. There was no longer hope for Wano, but this punishment was dragged on in length, Oden, we have to it that he's still surviving to the best of his abilities, but we see a narration coming through this, It says that the people realized this while the subordinates of Kaido and Orochi surrounded them with weapons in their hand. Not only that, the reason for Oden's strange actions these last 5 years was quickly communicated to all the people of Wano. And that's when everybody's really surprised to see to it that he did such a thing. Not only that, there's an arrow will later on be shot eventually somewhere, maybe to Yasui or Hedgehog guy. And it says, when we need to learn the leaders of the provinces of Wano of something important, we use arrows on which we hang a message. These arrows can cross huge distances, As for Oden's execution, the oil in the pot was heated over 700 degrees and it kept increasing, dude. And we see too that everybody thanks Oden for what he has done for them, and without realizing what they really did. And we see too that Oden's still doing the best of his ability to survive the boiling execution, and we see to it that Oden announced, if I can survive this scalding or execution, I would like to open this country. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And Oden's subordinates realizes that you already mentioned that the Kozuki had something to do with the closure of the country. What did you learn at sea? We see to it that Oden continues to makes a speech, He says, a very long time ago, those who sank this country from the outside world were the members of the Kozuki clan. It was to protect Wano from a gigantic power. Wano country, no, the world is waiting for a particular individual. When that individual appears transversing through 800 years of time, we must be a country that can welcome and support him or her. I'll be blunt, those guys will definitely kill me today. And while Oden's subordinates goes no, if you really can resist the boiling, then you should be able to survive. A third of the time has already passed. And we see to it that Oden tells everyone, I want you to open Wano for me. And we see to it before Dendro could say something, Raizo said, if it's your dream, then it shall be our dream as well. And there's only 30 minutes left to go, and it's been a heated hell, and Orochi's really surprised and goes why the hell are you even alive? Raise the damn temperature. And Oden's still surviving, man. They got 5 minutes to go, only 1 minute to go, 10, 9, 3, 1, and then, he did it. He survived for an hour. He overcame his execution. Everybody was actually happy, even Oden's subordinates. However, we see to it that that they're so happy, etc., and they end up telling it, and the subordinates of Oden says, the illusion has been dispersed, and once again, the whole country is my ally. Prepare yourself, Kaido. And we see to it that everybody ends up all of a sudden, Kaido's subordinates ends up pointing the guns at Oden, and we see too that Orochi. Oh my gosh, I knew it. I knew from the start that Orochi will not keep his end of the deal or end of the bargain, dude. That's how much of a piece of filthy garbage he is. We all know he was garbage, even though if he's justified by revenge and everything else, still doesn't make any justification at all. What a dishonorable little punk. Anyways, like I said, he ends up saying, I had the idea to change your sentence to a shooting execution a minute ago, and then kill your whole family. You're a kid who thinks with his butt or something, you know? And we see to it that Oden decides to fling his subordinates out of the boiling pot and tells them, I'm counting on you guys. And Kinemon tells the others that we have to go. Let's get out of here. And they end up breaking their chains and they decide not to look back, you know? While Kinemon and everyone else remembering Oden's kindness and generosity, this is really devastating. Not to mention Kaido's subordinates are trying to shoot him down right now, but they're unable to. We see too that Kaido says, whatever your ambitions, your body is already dead. But at the least I can do is finish it myself as a sign of respect. The age of Kozuki will now end and you all will die. But Kozuki Oden tells Kaido, don't underestimate my samurai, you hear me? And we see to it that many of Oden's subordinates still remembers the generosity and kindness of Oden giving them, you know? And it's really devastating, dude. I can't wait to see this animated, dude. I think if they do it right, I'll have tears coming out. And we see to it that Raizo from Kanjuro and Okiku and Shutemaru and, you know, Kawamatsu, Inugarashi, Nekomamushi, they end up continue to keep going without looking back, you know, because he's telling them to keep going. And we see to it that that Kaido tells Oden, like, we will talk about you for a long time and your remarkable way of dying, you know? And we see to it that, like, Oden says, even if you forget me, I don't mind. My soul will continue to live on. And we see to it that Kaido gives his apology to him about the old hag, you know, and says, I already killed her for what she had did to you, for me to deliver a blow on you. And Oden says, you're a pretty serious one, aren't you? Get as strong as you can. And we see to it that Oden says his last words by saying, if I accompany you with a cup of sake, then that suits me. Oden, the more he is boiled and he ends up thinking in his mind, Toki, Momonosuke, Hirori, I'll be going on ahead. And he gets shot by Kaido in the head and he falls dead into the boiling pot, and people decide to finish the words for him. Like, Oden says, Oden, the more he is boiled, the better he is, and they end up screaming that out loud and cry in pain. But you know what's more devastating is that not only people grieved for Oden after he got shot dead, he died smiling. He literally died smiling, and there's a picture, and there's a small picture where Oden just smiles before he gets cooked up and dies in the boiling pot, and it gets blown out. And people grieve for Oden for what he has done, even though he is an idiot lord. They finally realize what he really has been doing after Shinobu tells the truth, you know? And we get to see a narration in Oden's last letter to Toki, you know? Now find the protagonist of the scene. Lady Toki, we just heard the death of Oden-sama. His last moments were to be admirable. And then there's a letter to Toki and tells Toki, Toki, I have reached my limits. If I don't manage to knock down Kaido or kill him, no one of our time will succeed. In a little more than 20 years, a gigantic war capable of separating the oceans will surely break out. In other words, in 20 years, the protagonists of this immense war will arise in the new world. They are the ones who can defeat Kaido. A long winter is going to brew in Wano for a very long time. Toki, I want you to use your power if I ever die. And Toki will later on rip up the letter, and she remembers of Oden's sword, you know, where those two swords will later on pass on to his children. And he already had hopes where Oden is not going to die, you know, that kind of thing. If I cry, people will laugh at me. There is no question that we are a burden for you. Look closely, Oden. 20 years into the future, and the narration ends off, and the story continues its course in the present. So, it looks like Oden made a prediction that in 20 years, there's someone that's going to rise up, and I'm pretty sure he might be mentioning the Straw Hats or Trafalgar Law or many others to come. But one thing for sure, this chapter right here I had to reread it too many times, and it almost got me to tears, man. Oden died with the face, with him smiling, and Kaido, even though he is a somewhat dishonorable guy, he knows what he did to Oden was bad, and he killed the old hag that gave him the advantage, and he will shoot Oden as a sign of respect of saying, you shall go out, at least let me end it for you, And Oden therefore dies smiling while burned into the pot, man. And his last letter to Toki, and Toki will later on, yeah. So, it looks like to me, depending on the situation, there could be one more chapter, or the next chapter, we're going to go back to present time, where the scabbards, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. We all know in the present of One Piece, before the backstory of Oden, we all know that it was very bleak, and we don't know what's really bound to happen, but guess what I'm about to see. Oda, you've been doing a crazy good job, man. You are one heck of a guy. Not to mention, if I remember correctly, there will be no break next week, which is really good. Oda, like I said, man, and I repeated it in many of my videos already. If you need to take as many breaks, take as many breaks if you have to. I'd rather have you be strong, healthy to finish the series than you overworking yourself and possibly injuring yourself to a point. Yeah. Anyways, like I said, I repeat myself every time in my video. Take as many breaks as you can if you have to. I'd rather have you be strong and healthy to finish the series off and give me a satisfaction as always, man. So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot.